Evening, everyone. Good evening, chat. Good everyone on YouTube. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Rob. How are you?
Hi, Paul. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Now, Tom is joining us. I don't know where he is. I think he's got a touch of the Jays. So I'm not too sure whether he's lost his connection, or he's doing a water change, or he's putting the shopping away, or having his meal. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to message him in a minute to see where he is. But I'm sure he'll join us shortly. So I will do the roll call in a minute. We've got 25 that are joined, so thank you very, very much. And I'm sure a few more join, or 31 now. So we'll do that in a couple of minutes. So let's kind of go through our week first of all, and then we'll come back to a roll call in a minute. So I saw, Rob, that you've done an Instagram post, and we were just talking about it. Do you just want to kind of tell everyone, if they haven't seen that, what you're up to?
Yeah, I've just filled up the Red Sea 170.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is. Yeah. You all right?
You look a bit harassed. You all right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. We're live. We don't want you to do a J when you come on here and think we're not live.
Yes. I've just done 200 litre water change.
See. Should have made it 190. Would have been on time.
Well, if somebody had left the phone in my car, Alex Brooks, after he left it as signature and we had to go back, then I would have been on time. Anyway, such is life. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Yeah. Cheers. Yeah. I'm on the hard stuff today.
Yeah, I've got a couple of
days.
Cup of tea. I'll be that.
What age did it happen to you both? What age did it happen? Just so I know.
At 50.
What, when you become boring? Is that what happens when you hit 50?
Yeah. Just wake up on your 50th birthday. Everyone just starts yawning at you.
Hey. Oh dear. Sorry, Paul. Couldn't help it.
No, that's okay. I had quite a few beers last weekend, and my bloods went all over.
Oh, you were in Jersey, weren't you? Yeah, you were in Jersey, weren't you?
So I decided to stay off of beer for a little while.
He's on detox.
That's just my blood sugars go all over the shop. But as we was away, it'd be rude not to have a couple of Moretti. So I had a few there. So since then, I've decided just to try and regulate the blood sugars. But yeah, so that's why I'm boring. Purely medical. So I've got a note. To say no beer.
Hey, I want C50, mate. So don't worry about it. It's fine. We're all good. Yeah.
Well, that's cheer. Well, that's a cheery.
I was going to say a cheery note, isn't it? You can't be that far away from it.
Cheers. No, he had hard life, hard paper round in his neck of the woods.
That's it. Yeah.
I was chopping sticks before I went to school.
It's turning into a Monty Python sketch.
I know.
All right.
Anyway.
So I'll get back to what I was saying. I forgot what I was doing.
Why not, Rob?
Well, sorry, did I steal the show from you, Robert? Yeah, sorry, I do apologise for doing that.
So I leak tested
seriously with them headphones.
What's that?
So I can't take you seriously with them headphones on. Sure, go
on. Nightmare. I know, Jay feels that. Yeah, so I leak tested the Red Sea 170. That's what I did this week. Filled it up. It's all good other than a slightly leaky diaphragm valve. So we were just talking, and I will probably chop it out and put a gate valve on it. Other than that, yeah, it's all good.
So I was saying, if you look at the off-the-shelf tanks, kind of Red Sea, DD, I don't know about Cage. You might with a Cage. They don't tend to come with a decent gate valve. They come with these ones that, diaphragm this and all of that, but they're not very good. And I find they're really hard to dial in. But you find people that got a proper gate valve, and they're not that cheap, but I think they're worth it because you can dial it in really easy, and all you got to do is tweak it, and they work really well and keep the tank silent. So you're paying all that money for those tanks, and they don't put a proper gate valve on. I just don't understand why.
No, not that.
Yeah. I think probably on a custom you probably do, because they probably give you a choice. Have you got a proper gate valve on yours, Tom?
Yeah. Yes, mate. Yeah.
Mine. Yeah.
And you have Rob?
Yeah. I've got a gate. Yeah. I mean, I don't think building your own or doing your own. I think everyone's going to do that, isn't they?
Yeah. Someone's just put One Arm Reef Lee's just put that the Cades have a gate valve, which is not a surprise. It should do because they cost a lot more than off the shelf tanks. So you would expect a proper kit, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I don't know if it's costing or not. I don't know. It's a diaphragm valve. Never seen them.
Yeah, Red Sea seem to have their own design, don't they? Their own one. I know they've been, but I struggle with mine. That it's in the garage. It's not too much of an issue, but to keep it silent, and all of a sudden it will drift every so often. So they forget to kind of dial it back in. So that's one thing you might find in the 170. But if it's in the garage, it doesn't have to. It's not going to be dead silent anyway. It's a bit different if you're in your living room. That I totally get. You want it as silent as possible, and you don't want it sounding like a drain, do you? That's for sure.
In your house, yeah.
No, that's sure. So what's the next steps on that?
That's his wallet, the drain.
Feels like it. Just ordered 10 filter fleece rolls this morning as well. This makes your eyes water.
10.
Royal exclusive ones.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got to put a poll on as to how much that costs.
Right. Let's have a poll then. So,
your rules are you can't Google it, obviously, and cheat. But I'm just curious to know. I'll have a go. I'll have a go on my phone. I'll have a guess.
I need to check.
First poll of the evening.
I need to check the amount in the email.
Does your wife watch this, Rob?
No.
So I'm going to put. I'm going to do up to £200. That's going to be more. How many?
I knew I was going to say that.
How many did you order? 10.
10, yeah.
Okay, right. Let's put 200 to 500, and then the other option is 500 plus. So we got up to 200, 200 to 500, or 500 plus. And I've got no idea how much I'm cost. So I'm totally off. Right, so the poll is up. We'll leave it up for a couple of minutes.
Wow.
Right.
So I've voted.
I'll have you. Yeah. So right, what we're going to do, I'm going to say the hellos while we're doing that, and then we'll come back to the very early poll. I'm sure Drippy will be happy with a poll, as always. He loves a poll, doesn't he? I don't know if that's a pun, but there we go. Right. Let's see who we got knocking around. So Tony was first in the house at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So looking forward to anticipation to everyone. Hiya, Tony.
Evening.
Good evening to you. Hope you're
evening, guys.
12 Cotties Reef. Good afternoon. Good evening to you, sir. Techers. Hiya, how are you? Johnny boy, I'm surprised you're not watching the football. Maybe you are watching the football while you're watching us. And hiya, Skids. Hope you're well. Good evening to you, one arm of the reefer. Hope you're good. And there's Drippy. What's he saying? Happy Friday, Reef Weirdos. Hope everyone's well. Sun's out tonight watching this. I missed part of it. And hi, Jarek. How are you? Good evening to you, Liam. Hope the shark is doing well. And good evening to you, Dave. Hiya, UKM 120, liking the clown picture there. Nice one. Who else we got? Tree Trough. Good evening to you.
Evening.
Hiya, Hayley. Thanks for watching. Hope you're well. And then we've got from Wakefield. Good evening to you, Timothy. And then hiya, John. Hope you're doing well. And good evening to you, Rama. Hope things are good. Stuart. Hi, Stuart. Liking the picture with the gorilla. Nice one. And there we go. Yeah. So one of the options, because I said, Tom, you was late. Either it was a water change, maybe copying Jay with putting your shopping away, having a takeaway, stuff like that. And it was it wasn't. It was it was Lee's fault by the sounds of it.
No, it was Alex's fault. Alex Brooks's fault. We'll just name and shame even further.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure I'll give you his address. No, I won't give you his address. But no, he left his phone. He left his He left his phone at Signature because we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
And then I got to his house and dropped him off. Got all the way home to start my water change and realised his phone was in my car. So yeah, being the good friend I was, I couldn't, leave him sweating without a mobile device these days. So I drove all the way back to drop him off. Hence why I was late.
Can you imagine the withdrawal symptoms of not having a phone in the evening and overnight into the morning? It might be actually quite relaxing. On the other hand, he might be totally stressed.
I was going to say, probably stressful.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's probably a little bit like when I'm trying to ring the other half and her phone's in her handbag and it's on silent. Because I'm in the supermarket and I'm saying, have we got any of this? And I'm ringing. Phone's on silent. And I get home and I buy it and we've already got that. Like, well, if you answered your phone, you could have told me. But anyway, this patch is from the hand in the tank, not a sweat patch. Before anybody comments. Anyway,
I didn't notice because your name is across your sweat patch.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Anyone you go like that, everyone notices now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the joys, rushing around.
Absolutely, as you do. Reef 216. Good evening to
evening.
Yeah, Darren, I do actually. My sugar levels have been pretty good up until last weekend, and then there was a bit of a nightmare, but that's life, I suppose. Where are we? Who else have we got? Here's right on cue, Alex giving us away. Hiya, Alex.
It gave me a frag. I can't complain.
Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it?
One that he didn't want. He'd already got one.
Liam is saying he popped to Christian at Signature the first time 18 months, which is amazing as always. We'll come back to that because maybe he was there with you. I don't know. Hiya, Grumpy. Hope you're well.
Evening, Gareth.
I'm booked up for some salty show beers with Lee and the gang now in September. Absolutely. I'm assuming that's Aqua.
Oh, is he coming to sleepover too?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it was.
Might be.
Looks like it.
Booked the hotel a couple of weeks ago. There's a grouper is going. Should be good.
So is that the sleepover on the Friday night or the Saturday night?
On the Friday night before the show.
Yeah. Okay. John's got the footy on as well. Let's see what else we have got. Jolly Boys and Mr. Chips at Hills. We are called the Jolly Boys. I'll pay you to keep my work phone. What signature? Watch your space. We'll come back to that in a moment. Rama, it should be under £200. I'm going to close the poll in a minute. I'm just going to go through these last two. Yes, he's going for the sleepover. So how many? Sorry, how many now have you got for the sleepover?
I think it's 10 of us so far.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, we're all meeting up now. For people are travelling out there from different locations, so it makes sense if you can afford it to have a bit of a knees up and meal, or pint or coke, whatever.
Absolutely. You haven't got to worry about setting off early in the morning and all that kind of stuff. So you can have more of a leisurely stroll, should we say, getting there. Yeah. And anyone who's going, there is I don't know why I'm promoting this, but there's a frag swap been set up. I put Shamila put the QR code on the Love to Reef one because I said it was okay for her to advertise it on there. So I think it's only just started. So there's not much going on there at the moment, but hopefully that will start picking up. Is it 5 weeks away? Is it 5 weeks to Aqua? Something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Darren said it's a cold boutique. Again, we'll come back to that. I'm going to join you for having a beer. Excellent. Right. Thank you very much. That's everyone who's joined. And thank you. We've got 45 people joined us on a. Well, I don't know where you are, guys, but it's really well. I know where you are, Rob. You're around the corner. So it's been really hot this week. So thank you for everyone, because I'm sure you could have watched the football. You could have kind of been out in the sun and everything else. So I really appreciate you joining us. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the poll and that first and see where we are. Let's get the poll up. Right. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll. So you got up to £200, 30%.
He wishes.
£500, 52, and £500 plus is 19%. Right. So I've ended the poll. That's where we are. So
drum roll, Robert.
Yeah. How much
it was? I've got the bill here. 364.60.
Oh, okay. So
bang
right in the middle
my
of what they said.
Yeah.
Wow.
To be fair, that also includes a flow meter, which I think is €50 or something. You know the little inline flow meters you get?
Right.
I've already got one, but I'm that lazy that I can't be bothered to turn the flow off, clean it, and then put it back. So I've just bought another one so I can just swap it over quick. And I can just leave one in citric
acid. It's an hard life, isn't it?
But people do that on the wet sides of the
exactly,
and they're a lot more expensive than that. The wet side used to be about 80 quid on MP10. They're probably a lot more now.
Yeah.
I sent him and Josh a message yesterday saying, "Oh, look at all these gyres I'm having to sort out," because I've said to John, right, he can have one when it comes to the barbecue. And he says, "Oh, I'm just looking at where I'm going diving." Oh, it's such an hard life, isn't it?
Well, you asked.
So where are you going diving?
I'm actually going to Komodo. You know where the dragons come from?
Wow, cool.
Yeah, so that's like 3 islands along from Bali, basically.
Yeah,
Indonesia. So I've never been there before. So yeah, looking forward to it. Should be good. Be out there on my son's birthday. 2 of us are going.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to try and get into a coral farm? I know you're a fish man, but you've got to do it while you're there, surely.
If they got any, I would have done if I was going to Bali, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they do it on Komodo, to be honest. It's in a national park, but I don't know whether they do.
Right.
It might be protected if you're going to the international park, mightn't it?
Yeah, so I thought, but yeah.
No.
So, I don't know.
Sounds fantastic. So when's that you're going?
October, that is. Yeah, so not that long.
Not that long, is it?
No, not at all. No, a bit of a last minute. Just decided to get away.
My heart bleeds.
It's hard work, isn't it?
Honestly. I bet you were like that, Miss Moneypenny. Yes, Bond.
Well, he's doing 2 live streams a week.
Oh, dear.
That kind of doubles his work, doesn't it?
I'm a bit older than you, Tom. You know what I mean? I've just had more time to gather a couple of quid. That's all it is.
You're chuffing 005, you.
Oh, dearie me.
Anyway.
Right. Do you want to talk about signature frags? Because a couple of questions have been asked and a couple of comments.
Never heard of it.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right, let's move on then.
Yeah, short and sweet. Not even sweet.
I've got a few people I need to shout out here. I need to get the right order here. So, Liam went. Here we are on Friday, aren't we? Of course we are. Liam went Wednesday. So, what's happened in my week? In fact, let me just rewind for a minute. So, because I've got potentially, and again, I know this might change. We've got the barbecue next weekend. Yeah. And I know what Southerners are like in terms of critiquing, should I say, other people's abodes. I thought it would be a good idea to have the lounge decorated.
Yeah.
So we've got the lounge decorated, and Alex, as in Born to Reef, Alex Brooks, who's in the chat now.
Yeah.
He decided, let me show you, do this.
Oh, wait a minute, you got a picture?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. He came and did his professional decorator. He came and taped all the lounge up. You see that?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the tank got well and truly covered. So we're doing that. This was Wednesday. I think I've got another one. And then while we were doing that, Liam messaged us saying, "Oh, I'm on my way to signature." And I was like, "Oh, really? Nice one. Fair enough." And me and Alex decided we'd try and get an appointment. We got in this afternoon, and we had a very, very nice time. What was even better?
Is it hard to get an appointment? Because I know it's appointment. It's not like I suppose, normal LFS that are open from 9 to 5 or whatever it is. It's appointment only, isn't it?
It's appointment only. The point is that I wanted to try and get in because Christian's about to load a new range of corals that he's frags to his website.
Right.
And obviously, you know what it's like, a big mad rush.
Yeah.
So I tried to get an appointment because I wanted to sort of, look at things before they go on the website.
Yeah.
So did Alex, because Alex won the PC Rainbow, if you remember, last Friday.
Ah, yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah.
So he wants to pick that up. So he'd done the decorating for me on Wednesday. So I was like, come on, we'll try and get in. So we got in today. When I picked him up, we went to the petrol station and he was like, oh, here. Gave me some cash. I was like, what's that for? He says, oh, well, me and the lads have had a whip round as a bit of a thank you for the last barbecue that you put on and putting everybody together. We wanted to get you a frag. So a bit of a touchy moment. So Alex, Drippy, Liam, Lee, Matt the Pratt, and Tim all chipped in a couple of quid, and it bought me a ASD Melee from Christian, which I was very, very proud to obtain. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Have you got a picture of it?
Yeah.
Well done, Chad.
I haven't, because it's literally gone in the tank five minutes ago before we came on. But I will try and get you one and show you. But it's imagine eating a packet. I know you probably can't, Rob, but imagine eating a pack of fantastic Haribo all at the same time. That's kind of the look it gives you. It makes you. That's the look when you look at it. It's so like bright and in your face. It's awesome. Yeah. And it's to be fair, I was after one. I've been after one for about 6 months, and the lads knew, and yeah, they made the arrange. Oh, and Christian Christian put in as well. So yeah, it was a big chipping effort.
Cool.
And yeah, I was quite touched. So
does that quite long polyps being a millie?
Yeah,
is it quite like a fluffy? Yeah, they're nice millies. Actually,
yeah,
like
quite fluffy.
Yeah.
Well, see if I can get a picture of it on. But yeah,
do a J and get one of Christian's photos. And
just go. Yeah,
There's one I took earlier.
That's it.
I don't know whether I'll be able to do it. But
He's not happy. It's loose middle age instead of the Friday night live stream, and we're loose men. Oh dear.
If I can find a picture of you while you're talking. So yeah, I spoiled myself. Yeah, it was nice. It was a good day today. So appointment 11.
Yeah.
So it is hanging on about how hard his life is. Basically, you spent your whole day at a coral shop today.
Sounds like
tough, isn't it? Tough April.
It is.
Well, you've got to be some perks. I was booked. The appointment was booked for 11. We got there about 1:30. In all fairness, we were stuck on the bloody M1 with the roadworks. I didn't leave till 4, 3, 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There we go.
Anyway,
so there's a couple of comments there while you're looking for the picture. Bring us back a stick of rock. I'll take a command. Oh, please, Rob. I tried to convince the missus to go to coral shop in NYC this week while we were away, but she wouldn't go into the Bronx. Dear. Like your t-shirt. Oh yeah, good point, Tom. You got to bury the sausage for next weekend. Got to be done.
I know, because the weather is not looking clever at all. But I'm hoping it's no. It just keeps changing. To be fair, here you go.
I don't think you can take any notice, to be honest.
You see that?
Yeah, it's just come. Oh, that is nice.
Nice.
That is nice, isn't it?
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, got one of those.
Cool.
Are you acclimating it?
No, I plopped and dropped it, mate.
Good.
Do what you do. Just chuck it in. It fries or dies, mate. One of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
twist.
What's the alternative? Because your tank is, how old's the tank now? 14 months, 15 months?
Mine? No, we're getting on to this time next month. We're on the year mark. It's the first year anniversary. Okay. Yeah, Kaz's birthday, middle of September. I put the fish in.
Yeah.
Filled it with water.
Yeah. So it's probably, I mean, you've got SPS in there anyway, haven't you? So they're doing well. So in which case, why not?
got loads of coralline algae as well, which, to be fair to Scott, he said months ago was like that's a really good indicator, and to be fair, it has been in terms of when's ready for SPS.
Yeah, I've read a few times over the years. Once you've got coralline algae, then actually the tank should be ready for your kind of test their SPS. Because if it can grow that, it can grow SPS, which I think is I haven't seen anyone who says that's not a good indicator. So
I put some in earlier, and they did all right. But then because I was fighting all the different, silicates, if you remember, not spoiler, but all the arguments with the fights with the silicates and the phosphates, the algae, it just like any algae, they just piss them off, don't they? They start landing everywhere and stringing and getting it. I don't think it's ideal, so I waited a bit more. I waited it for it to go through its ugly stage, and then started seeing coralline algae, and I was like, right, let's give it another go. And since then, I've not looked back. Touch wood. So,
cool. No, sounds good. Cool. Yeah. So, anything else on your reefing week? Other than water change?
Did the water change? Lee gave me a skimmer to put me on because I obviously had to make a decision. I was going to Signature. I buy the replacement skimmer pump. I wrote a letter to Rob will fix it to see if he could for me a skimmer pump. I didn't get a reply, so I just thought.
Oh dear.
So I just decided that sod it. And when I picked Alex up and he gave me that, and the lads had a whip round, that was honestly just made all the difference.
Fantastic.
So I did what I always knew deep down I was going to end up doing. But even though when Mogsy came and shot the video last year with the tank, I said I wouldn't do, and that was just fill it with silly amounts of frags, green ones, pink ones, whatever ones. And now I've got to a point where I sort of I want the stuff that you can't get in a lot of the shops. And to be fair to Christian, he's got it. So that's why I've had to pay a little bit more. But the lads made it easier. So, for a few £100, I got a frag and a few frag plugs. But,
cool.
Okay. I've got a few frags. No, I did all right. I did all right. Oh, nice. Good day shopping, to be fair. Yeah. So,
How far was that from you then? How far?
Well, if it weren't for the bleeding 50s, go on. The speed limit, because they're doing the road work, should I say. It's normally 25 minutes. It took about 45 minutes because the road works. Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, it is a fantastic place. I've been there once because I was staying up in Birmingham for the weekend on something else, and then I met Jay there. But for me, it's probably free. Well, it's not much different to me coming to you next weekend. So 3 hours there, 3 hours back. That's a long time. So if I go up another time for a weekend, then I will go there for sure.
I'm laughing at Drippy. I'm laughing at Drippy's comment because he's actually upstairs, so we can actually talk about it now. So it's fine. But
that 30 quid frag.
Yeah,
that's the one. I was on the phone to Drippy before the live stream, and she was like, how much? I was like, oh no, and I started pretending I was talking about parameters. I was like, oh no, it's between. That's what he runs his lights at.
30, I was 50 quid, and it's really expensive coal rather than the basic one. And then
I got some of the.
Darren saying go to the basic coals.
Yeah, I know. I said I was going to. I have got quite a lot of bread and butter and old school steaks, but we all know what it's like. You just get that itch, and you just want. Well, I know Paul. Well, I know. Sorry, Rob doesn't, because he's more a fish guy. Well, there's certain sticks out there that we can't get in the UK because we're not as good as the USA. Rob, for the third time I've said this to you. So we have to go to people. We have to go to certain people that might have got something similar. And to be fair to Christian, he's got different colours and different sticks that I've not seen elsewhere. So I've got a pink lemonade, which I've wanted for a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Okay. So we've got a poll. How much did Tom spend? So it's actually, you've got a pink lemonade. It's up to 400 or over. I mean, I have to change it. It was 300, and so you said the pink lemonade. So it's up to 400 or.
Well, you need to know how many frags I came back with, don't you?
Oh, I'll put it up.
Bearing in mind. But, all right. Okay.
I think you've given the game away. Anyway, it's up to 400 or over 400. Leave that running for a minute. Let's have a look.
There's the rule here, right? Anybody that comes to the barbecue, should weather depend, which I'm fingers crossed, toes crossed it is. If that, for some reason, gets repeated, you'll be ejected.
That's instant expulsion. There's no
Correct.
money cherry talk.
Well, I mean, we can
You should do it in filter fleeces, Tom. It's
Yeah.
worth about 10 filter fleece rolls.
Because the last time I bought something, I ended up having to buy a Louis Vuitton handbag.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
And I can't afford to buy another.
Anniversary of my tank today.
Oh, did you?
Today, yeah, 3 years today. I put that Achilles
Wow.
in the tank.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Nice one.
Had him in there 3 years now. Goes quick, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It does fly by on the tank. It
Yeah.
really does. So yes, Signature Frags is in Ripley, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you know if Tom will be searching everyone when we leave the barbecue? He'll be counting all the fish on all these frags.
He'll have one of those airport scanners that you have to walk through by his front door.
Yeah. I think you know when you've been somewhere too often when you don't need to, like Alex said earlier, he said you don't need to use a sat nav. I was like, no,
I know exactly.
I don't need to use exactly where I'm going. Anyway, yeah.
Oh dear. Mum's the word gypsy. 50 minutes from Rama, and
Go.
as long as you're happy, mate. Makes sense. Cool.
You know what
Right.
though? I'm happy now, but I'll be even happier in the morning when I come down. Like I'll probably wake up at whatever.
Not white.
Yeah.
Another
I
strip.
know. We all do that, don't we? Next day.
The amount of times I've woke up, and I don't know whether I speak for anybody else, and I've woke up at middle at night or early hours at morning, I need a pee, go to the toilet, and I'm like, I need to know, have they stripped or are they all right? And I come downstairs and I just look around the corner, look at the tank, and I'm just like, oh, thank God, thank the Lord. Well, anyway, I hope I'm not the only one I hope I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one. I do that also when I buy rats because I'm thinking, can I see the rats? Can I see when the lights go on? Is the rats going to come out? But on corals as well, on SPS definitely, for sure. Right, let's go to the poll. Where are we? We've got 52% up to 400. And 48% over 400. So I've ended the poll. So you haven't actually got to say how much. You just got to say, is it below or over? Over. Okay. Are you going to say any more than that? Or mum's the word if someone has put? He's going to work it out.
I bought a bucket of salt as well. Am I including that or not?
No, you're excluding the bucket. You exclude the consumables.
Okay.
Okay. And how many did you buy?
6.
That's not bad.
And the lads dragged 200 quid together for me, which I thought was amazing. So thanks again.
So is it 200 off of that, or it would have been 200 on top? Right. Oh, okay. So 6 frags at that, which going for higher end ones and like pink lemonade and stuff like that, they're not cheap because they're hard to get, aren't they? Nowadays, I think you'd struggle to get a pink lemonade outside of,
especially when you know with Christian. I'm not just bigging up here, but you're getting the real McCoy, don't you? Which I think stands for something. Value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
Absolutely.
So the hot dogs, what I've said is the hot dogs are $2.50 next week, and the burgers are $3.50 each. If you want chips, you can double up. If you want a drink, I'll do you a meal deal, just $10.
And then for sauce, it's double the price.
That's it. Yeah, it's like £5 a sachet.
That's the one.
Yeah. So is the barbecue going to be weather dependent?
Well, I'm hoping not, but we'll see because everything says it's going to be fine. But then Kat keeps looking and she's like, "Oh, it's going to might rain." I was like, "No." So we everything's going ahead. If there's anything to know about Paul, you'll be the first to know. So you're travelling the furthest, don't you worry, mate.
Yeah, because we'll probably come out early-ish in the morning so we can avoid the traffic.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay.
I'll be doing it. I'll be making a decision on Wednesday this
Cool.
week. I'll let you know, mate.
No problem. Just one question before we move on, Tom. What size are the frags? Are they AAC size or top shelf size?
I couldn't comment about top shelf size. Top shelf
we looked,
size.
didn't we, on the stream.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Remember,
On the stream, of course we did.
Tiny, weren't they? Top shelf for like.
No, they are. No, they're AAC size. I'd say 1.5, 2 inch. Yeah,
So nice.
1.5, 2 inch.
That's nice because the really small ones they've got even more chance of stripping, haven't they?
I've just got to a point where it's like, I don't think you need to spend. You don't need to. I mean, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not professing to be. It'd be nice if I was, but I don't think. I think you can achieve a nice tank with, lower end priced corals. But I just think you do need a little bit of sugar sprinkling on here and there, and that's all I've done today.
And the
with some of the collectibles, and to get some money, and to get some money back. Not lie. If I can grow out a pink lemonade, call it
the money back,
and charge the lads 50 quid a frag or whatever instead of 150 quid a frag, then happy days. I'm going to get my money back, can't I? I mean, you don't want to be giving them away because that's what happens in this hobby sometimes, and the price of it plummets because everybody's got it. So then supply and demand again.
But I think something like that. You're not going to be able to flood the market, and even if you do, a lot of people end up killing it because they're not the easiest ones to look after, and they take quite a bit of time.
No pressure.
Yeah, and they take a bit of time to grow out. If you've got a big tank, I think the chance of you having a bigger colony in a bigger tank, I think is much greater. I think the corals will grow bigger and faster than if you're in a 3-foot tank, I would say.
Yeah.
On that.
Absolutely.
But there we go. Right. The topic of today is super simple reefing. And is it possible? So I put,
is it possible?
Is it possible? So the first thing I thought was, what is super simple reefing to us? Because it could mean all different things to different people. So what do we think? What does that mean to you? I don't mind who starts.
I'll start if you want.
Cool. Go on then.
Super simple reefing. Is it possible? I think for me, we're going to go back to what we always say. The caveats are time, money, effort, patience, frustrations, emotions. What do you ultimately want to achieve with your tank or aquarium or reef? I think it can be simple.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we can all be guilty, me included, of overcomplicating it. I think you make things a lot easier by doing some of the old school methods, which I'm a big advocate of, irrelevant of the toys and gizmos behind me, which would be things like water changers.
Yeah.
Rather than having loads and loads of bottles of, XYZ, salt, pepper, whatever else, trace element, in the cupboard, which again, I fall foul of. So I think find a system, for me, find a system that works for you. The simpler it is, again, not to sound like a stuck record, the more likely you are to adopt it and maintain it as a routine, and therefore you'll have more chance to have success with your tank. So I think you can make it simple, but I think you just have to, as daft as it sounds, look yourself in the mirror and sort of say, well, what can I afford, or in terms of time and money, to put into my tank, and make your decisions that way. And there's equipment that you can buy to make life easier. I won't go without an ATO, as I'm sure you guys wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I think that's just, from a salinity point of view, I think that's a bit suicidal. But there's other things you can do, doses or calcium reactors. I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to overcomplicate it. Again, it depends on your routine. If you haven't got the time to do a water change, or, you're out of the country with work, or you don't trust the missus or whatever it is, then you can put it on a doser, couldn't you? So my argument is I think it can be simple. It would depend on what you want to achieve and, again, your lifestyle. That's what I'd say anyway.
Is it also influenced by what you keep in terms of the fish and the corals? Does that have an influence of, well, actually you can make it easier by avoiding this, or make it easier by keeping this?
I was looking at, I guess probably the simplest thing I've ever seen is Julian Sprung's pond. Have you seen that outside his house?
Yeah, the outside one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm aware, it doesn't do anything to that. The rain tops it off. The biological medium in there just circulates. So I don't think there's anything in there. So
Surprised you haven't dived in it, Rob.
It's not deep enough, Tom.
All right, okay.
But
your legs just hanging out.
But yeah. So I was, when Paul put this sort of topic up, I was thinking, how easy could you make it? But I think most people complicate things because they want certain things which come with caveats that, like certain fish, high-end corals. But I think if you made a kind of softy tank with a really low bioload, I mean, even the fact you could have one of those, the sun tubes which bring in the sunlight, you could have one of those over a tank, live rock, some softies, probably maybe one or two really small fish, some inverts. You probably wouldn't have to do virtually anything to that tank, really.
Yeah.
But most people don't want tanks like that. They want different corals and more fish. And so I think, it can be really simple, but probably those tanks are just not where people want to end up with their, unless you've got other tanks and you want to do a specific, most people want mixed reefs and
I think it's one of those, and you don't know where you want to go, because nobody starts his hobby knowing that in 5 years' time I want this size tank and this equipment and I want to be doing this method. Unfortunately for our wallets and sometimes the livestock, fish, corals, whatever else, you have to go through the ups and downs to then realise, almost a pilgrimage, to understand where you've ended up. And without going through that process, the guy in the LFS that told you 5 years ago you need to be patient and take your time, it suddenly starts making sense to you. But
I think the other thing is as well, as you progress through the hobby, probably all three of us would look at our own tanks and go, yeah, they're reasonably simple. But if you bring someone in, like when you go away and you bring someone in who's absolutely never seen a reef in their life and you start running through the tank and they're like looking at it like it's like running a nuclear power station. You're going, geez. Yeah. But to you, you think, my tank's reasonably simple, really.
Yeah,
so
good point.
It's the other side of it.
And I think the more you go into the hobby, you probably challenge yourself more, and then you stretch yourself, and therefore you want to go and invest in more kit and other stuff like that, and you potentially over elaborate in terms of what you have, and actually, do you really need it? And I think, and also then if you do go into tanks where you've got tangs and wrasse and amphias, you're then increasing the bioload. Therefore, you're going to consider how do you balance that with the ins and the outs and other stuff. So therefore, quite often people don't do more water changes. They'll add more kit to it to help with the
automate it.
Yeah, and then automation, which actually automation sometimes can make it simpler. But then, as we discussed before, you've got to keep on calibrating it, and you've got to do this, and you've got to check in on this. Actually, it's simple to a point, but you have to keep checking it and do other things. So it's not as automated as you first think. And potentially you're doing more work than if you didn't have it quite often, I think, on certain pieces of kit that you get.
The automation for me, I think the biggest benefit for me, again, versus my lifestyle, is that I get to look at an app, and if I'm curious to know what the temp is or the pH is, I can look at it. And again, I'm looking for a range. So is it really hot? Do I need to ask somebody to go and open the windows or the doors? That sort of stuff. Is it something that's a bit out of the ordinary? Do I need to go and literally nip home? Because I'm fortunate enough that my office is only a mile or so away from my home, so I can come home and have a look at the tank and let the dog out, sort of thing. But I wouldn't use the automation as I said before.
You got cameras on your tank, Tom?
No, but funny you should say that, because Lee's given me a link to some great ones that he uses off Amazon that I am going to be buying. I keep forgetting to get them, to be fair. But no, I just think I think for me the cloud-based stuff, the app-based stuff is great for telling you, for letting you know what it is without having to come home and stick a thermometer in it as such, or look at a screen. But also for the as I always say, for me it's the historical data. You can look at trends. You can look back and look at, this was high, this was low, this was up, this was down, and sort of thing. And get to understand your tank. As I always say, it's personality, and if you have a problem, you've got something, in terms of evidence to go back on and look at, haven't you?
Yeah. I think also quite a lot of that stuff is good redundancy as well. If it's going to send you a message when something's not working, or salinity, or temperature, if the power's out. I mean, we've had locally, I think 5 power cuts, short ones, in the last 2 weeks. I can't remember before then.
Oh, wow.
When we've had a power cut, it's really weird. Unfortunately, none of them have been longer than half an hour, and some have been really localized to one side of the street.
Yeah,
so it's really bizarre. I mean, I've been in on every occasion when it's happened, and actually, the problem is not these tanks; it's the freshwater ones, because when the power goes off and you turn them back on, the pumps are running dry because they've got hang-on filters.
Oh, so yeah.
So they would actually just probably burn out. So on that, I get a message saying, lost connection. So you think lost connection, either the Wi-Fi's gone down, which is not unusual, or the power. It's either one of those two things. And you've got to think, well, the power's gone, haven't you? It's probably the immediate one, because that's the one that's going to cause the biggest problem. So I think in that respect, is it simple? You can argue whether that's simple or not, but certainly it's from a redundancy point of view, it's pretty good. Right, let's go through a few of the comments. So temperature controller is a must. Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, I'd agree with that as well.
Depends on the animals you keep. Absolutely, as we've just said. What else have we got around here? Soft corals can be super simple. Absolutely. Then you've got ATO, as you said, Tom, temperature controller, water feeder, and a dosing pump. I think certainly as you've got more and more livestock, I think a dosing pump, and then you've got to decide what you dose, don't you? Because again, you could keep it really simple with Ultra Reef, or you could do the 4-part dosing with Red Sea's got, or you could
just do a water change.
Yeah,
water change.
Yeah. Again, if you keep softies in a water change, you wouldn't have to dose, would you?
No.
I would say on that one. So when I first started, I had a 60 centimeter square tank, no skimmer, no filter, just a heater, wave maker, and water changes. It did really well, just softies and zoas. Absolutely. To the earlier point, that you would say is really simple. And probably, if you look at the water changes, they'll be quite small, because on a 60 centimeter square, depends if you've got a sump or not. If a sump, maybe 200 litres? 200
litres, I was set to 50, mate. Yeah.
It's pretty nice. You're doing 20 litres. That's not a lot, is it? 2 buckets, you're sorted, I would say, on that one. Zoo asked, that's his comment, what we're talking about. We're talking about super simple reefing. And is it possible? Let's have a look. We'll start to go up in level from super simple. The more you go, softies, LPS to SPS. Yeah. Where else have we? I had a break from the hobby, just come back to it with a plan of what I want and a maintenance plan. Absolutely. I think if you have a good schedule, then you can make it simple.
Well, you could put an auto water changer on, couldn't you, Rob? Yes. You've got one. Make life easier.
Makes life easier. Yeah.
I plan to do that on one of the tanks in the garage, just the 170. But I'm going to do 20 litres over 3 or 4 days. See how that works. I just got to sort out the dosing pumps. I've freed up the 2 dose heads now. So we will see. So that on that, if I did auto water change, would you put some kind of float, a level set sensor or something in the sump, because you've got to dial in both of the dosing.
Yeah, in and the out. Yeah.
And you've got to make sure that actually, obviously, they're dosing the right amount.
Yeah, the same. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, actually, what could go wrong on that? And because I've got an Apex on that tank. Do you put some kind of level sensor on it? So, because what you don't want is to dump loads of RO in there. So I've got to work out what kind of redundancy, or, what if one pump fails? That's the kind of thing I've got to look at on that. Whereas it's not simple, is it? I've got to think of all of that. That's definitely not simple. Whereas I could just get 20 litres out, 20 litres in, and I'm sorted, and I can do that in 20 minutes. So it's not super simple. Although if you dial it in and you get it right, it could save me some time.
Once it's set up, it's just a bit of work to start with, isn't it? Working out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
so
do a
more-
level sensor. You could put a level sensor in a sump, couldn't you? I mean,
Yeah,
Apex do it.
absolutely. So the more I
do
think
that.
about it, the more I think about, is it as simple as I think? I'd have to calibrate the
Very
doses
rare.
and that kind of stuff. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
overthinking it. I don't know.
The only thing I'd ever say with that is the more, excuse me, the more bits of technology you daisy chain onto your tank, the more chance you have of something going wrong. Is all I would say.
It's just points of failure, isn't it? Yeah, you're adding more, I guess.
Yeah. I'm more concerned about it's pulling out the water, the other one's not working, and then the ATO dumps loads of water in, and your salinity then goes nuts, and I haven't spotted it. So I just got to think that through. I think I'll take the plunge, but I just need to say, right, what is the what if scenarios, and how am I going to try and mitigate? You can't solve it, let's face it, but you can put some kind of redundancy in that.
Yeah, you're only going to do a fixed amount as well, aren't you? If you tell it to just do 20 litres.
Yeah, and it'll be 20 litres
over 3 days,
4 or 5 days or something like that. It's in the garage, so I haven't got to worry about too much of the DOS doses.
No, but mine's in my living room, and I just don't feel comfortable because I've just got a really bad feeling of just walking in one day and it's just flooding.
Yeah,
and it's just from all those days that I've left the RO on in the downstairs loo before I put it in the garage. And the amount of times on a Sunday morning I've walked down and the first thing I've done is stepped in wet, cold water and just gone. I've left the RO on. I left the RO on last night before I went to bed. Oops.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just going to go down to so there you go. Fish only system can be super simple. Surely it's when your Coral Passion takes off the equipment and testing becomes anything but simple. Yeah. As you started going through the gears, as we said earlier, softies to LPS to SPS, then absolutely.
I think you do, but I think you also get to a point. Sorry, before you carry on, that you also get to a point that you also think, actually, am I not overcomplicating this? And actually, I think you then go back to making it simpler.
Do you know what? I've done that. So on here, I've got, other than the temperature controller and the ATO, it's got the original kit. I'm not dosing because I'm doing water changes, and also I haven't got many corals. I mean, the corals actually looking. I'm really happy with how the corals are doing at the moment. But I'll probably end up putting one dosing pump on if I get to the point where there's loads of corals in there, because I don't think the water changes will be sufficient for it. And then in one tank, I've got a roller filter and no skimmer, and there's nothing else. I mean, you've got controllers, temperature controller, but there's no other kit on it. And then the 170, which has probably got the most SPS in there, I've got a skimmer and a roller filter. And I'm dosing all for reef. I'm dosing all for reef on both tanks now. So I've actually gone backwards in terms of the stuff I'm putting on it. One, because it's 3 tanks and it's a pain in the ass if you've got loads of stuff to do. If I think about, compare it to the 450 I had here, that had a lot more gadgets on it. But even that was just a skimmer, and I dosed no pox.
And pretty simple.
And it worked really, really well. Every so often, I had to put a bit of GFO in, because sometimes with no pox, your phosphate drifts a little bit. But that was only like once every 3 or 4 months. So I think they were relatively simple. I've never had one where I've had loads of reactors. I've never been a lover of loads of reactors. Whereas I think people used to have more reactors than they do now. I don't know.
No, I agree. I can remember they used to be out piped into a system. I wanted to have one. I used to think they looked quite cool, like under a car bonnet almost, under your sump, and having all these fluidized reactors hard plumbed in. But for me, just try and stay away from man-made products. Stick to nature.
That actually used to be a thing, didn't it? People used to show off the red piping.
Manifolds.
3 or 4 manifolds. And that would be one for the UV, where people say actually you probably shouldn't do that. You should have a pump for your UV because you control the flow. And then reactors used to be quite a big thing, but they don't seem to be as many now. I'm sure people do run reactors, but I don't think
it was a big yank thing, I think, as well.
Yeah,
possibly.
Absolutely. Right, so I'm going to go through some comments, and then I've got a couple of polls that I want to run. What's this here? You don't need a Trident cage keeper, dosing pumps, etc. for fish only system. Yeah, absolutely. It got me massively with Apex kit, but to be honest, I embrace the technology in the hobby now. The apps when I'm away keeps my mind at ease. Absolutely. Totally agree with
Dave there.
Apex has saved me a couple of times, to be honest, even just for the heartbeat function. I've also got a ring camera in the room, very, very handy to double check if meters run out. Absolutely. I've got an Apex, and that has saved the tank 2 or 3 times. And actually, I've got the Red Sea ATO, and that's saved the tank because it's not a temperature controller, but it gives me an alert if the temperature goes down. And I've done a couple of silly things. And also, it's got a leak detector, and the skimmer leaked, and it went down the back of the cabinet, and small puddle. But I don't know if you see it. If you have a small puddle of water, maybe even 100 mil, looked massive on the floor.
Yeah.
And you think, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it went off. And of course, what happened if I hadn't spotted it, the skimmer would have kept on leaking. That would have damaged the floor. The water would have come out, in which case the ATO would have carried on. So the cylinder would have gone down. And it sounds a bit extreme. So that kind of stuff, I think, helps when invariably I do something wrong.
What's that on the Red Sea ATO?
Yeah, so the Red Sea ATO, it's got...
I've got one as well.
Yeah, it's a temperature monitor
in the garage
on the app, and also it's got a leak detector as well. And you can see if you run calc. I think it's really good if you're running calc, because you can see, not like run calc, you can see how much RO is going in every day. You put in how much I've got a container that's 15 litres. I always put 14 litres on the app rather than 15, so I've got a bit of margin if I forget. And it will tell you when it's running low. And also, it's also on your app. It will show you if the water level's too high or too low.
Okay.
So for an ATO, I think it's really, really good. I've done a video recently. The sensor failed on mine. So that was after 12 months. I contacted Red Sea on the Friday. They agreed to replace it on the Saturday. I had a new one on the Tuesday.
Wow.
So from a service point of view, that was top notch.
Yeah.
I was really pissed off the fact that it broke within 12 months.
Is that optical sensor?
No, it's not. It's got little pins on it, hasn't it, Tom? It's almost like, I don't know if they're like steel pins, and there's kind of steel pin there and there.
There's three of them, isn't there, I think, from memory.
You've got one there and one there. So if it goes below, then the water's too low and it puts RO in. If it goes above that one, it tells you there's too much. And there's another one which I think is a redundancy. So it's not an optical one. It's which is, I think there's a trigger point, obviously, on that sensor.
The magnets are really strong. I'll give them that. So and you've got two, so you're not less likely for it to get knocked out of level. Yeah. Which I think is quite a good touch.
Yeah.
But I've got to name him because he's going to moan at me if I don't. Drippy donated it to me from the one he won in Love to Reef. So thanks, Drippy, again.
So I think it's a good piece of kit, and the app's pretty good. And I think you can get an Apex Junior, and the Apex Junior does a leak controller. I think it has temperature. That'll be a temperature controller. I think it does a level sensor. So I think it's on par with that.
Right.
But of course, obviously, with the Apex, you can go and build loads of stuff around it. So the Apex is better if you want to grow out the things that you want to grow out, I suppose, with different things.
Yeah. Like what Liam said a second ago, though, I'm sure there's been a few other comments. It's nice to have an app on your phone that tells you everything's all right with your tank, because I just think you get that peace of mind if you're not there that everything looks normal. So you can carry on with whatever you're doing wherever you are, as opposed to in the old days, you'd say, does everything, be like that, ringing from a payphone. Does everything look all right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then Jez, hi Jez, hope you're well. You've hit the nail on the head. When I worked retail, people often wanted a low-cost, simple setup, but few were prepared to compromise on what they could keep when starting out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There you go. I'd stick a DOS on pull and calibrate both heads and keep on an eye on salinity to see what you're at. Absolutely. So they are DOS doses, and obviously I can calibrate them. So that would help. Auto water changes are way too complex for me. I think people get to the point where people get lazy. Yeah, absolutely. I rate the Kamoa auto water changer when I was doing it. We'll probably add it again when the new tank's a year old. Yeah.
That's what I've got, and I've not used it. I've got one of those. Never used it.
Kamoa one.
Yeah, I've used the Kamoa stepper pump. They're really good. Kamoa heads on the pumps. I think BD use the Kamoa ones. I think on theirs, they're medical.
Yeah,
they're a medical company, so they make some really good pumps. So yeah, I can't complain with what I've got on that. Hi, Marek. Hope you're well.
Evening.
Just removed my refugium. So yeah, I don't see so many people have refugiums nowadays.
No, it seems to have gone right out of vogue at the moment, doesn't it? When Triton first
why has he removed it?
Good point. Why have you removed it? Less is more sometimes in reefing. Absolutely.
Agree. Just an interesting point. Sorry, before we move on. Yeah. So Alex has got one of the AI blades over his tank. Oh God, I'm going to get it right here. Grow. Is that right? Grow, not glow. Sorry, he had a glow.
Yeah.
I'm down without what they are. Yeah, he had a glow, and now he's swapped it for a grow.
Yeah.
Right. Have a guess. So he's got a. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. You'll have to chip in here. 2 foot.
It's grow.
Cube.
Grow. Yeah.
Grow. Sorry. Thank you. Grow. 2 foot cube. And had a couple of issues with a couple of the sticks. Not that they killed them, just not looking how they normally should. But borrowed my Apogee, took it over earlier before I went to Signature. Oh, sorry, when I got back from Signature. Have a guess what the power was coming out of this go on, AI grow, whatever you call it. What we're reckoning?
400?
A foot. Sorry, but yeah, a foot from the line.
So it's quite, I'd say 400.
Double it.
Jeez.
Wow.
Honestly, they are seriously. We were playing around with the Apogee for a bit, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is an intense light. To say how sleek they are, sorry to go off topic for a second, but I just couldn't believe. So yeah, he's been absolutely cooking his sticks for God knows how long, bless him.
So yeah, are they controllable lights then? You can
he can change it. But he'd not thought of asking me to put on my Apogee because he didn't think it was light. If it was like nutrients or high phosphate, blah blah blah, like what we all do. He put the Apogee in it. It wasn't 800 in all places, but the hottest point was 800, and it ranged from 6 to 800. So it's like wow.
Yeah.
So a little fixing, that looked so slim and innocent almost is what I'm saying with technology was like 800 par in some places, which we looked at each other and say, really? Yeah, 800. Oh wow.
And as we said before, most lights that you get on the market now will grow what you need them to grow. It comes down to preference and how they look and the spread and how you want to customize them as well. Whereas if you go back a few years, you think, could that actually grow what you want it to grow? Now I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy pretty much any light now, can't you? Really, you can have success. So
absolutely. There we go, Paul. You haven't gone backwards. You've got tighter. I don't know. Maybe I have. I don't know. But I've got 3 tanks. If I was really tight, I'd close them down and have one. But yeah, you might be right, Jeppy. I don't know. I have a simple Red Sea 170 system for low-end SPS. My non-essential equipment is ATO doser, skimmer, roller filter, temp controller. I'm up to 16 plugs. It doesn't take much, does it?
It really doesn't. 16 plugs. Wow.
Absolutely. Let's have a look. Let's see what else we've got. People use way too much. Yeah, absolutely.
Agree with that. Guilty of that. Guilty as charged.
Absolutely. Notice a huge difference in the DD when added a fuse. Display was clear in a few weeks. That was after running reactors. Natural is best. Absolutely. Yeah. Love fancy orange pipe work.
Yeah.
I'm super basic. I don't run a temperature controller.
He doesn't need to. His light's knocking out 800 par. It's warming his tank plenty.
One of the reasons why I started from day one is Sam had a fresh water tank and we went on holiday and came back and the heater was stuck on the maximum temperature on his fresh water, and it fried his tank.
Wow. Oh dear.
Yeah.
So
It
that
smelled
was
good.
years and years ago. So I'm thinking, got to have a temperature control.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rely on purely on, you know, when I first started, I had the Eheim heaters, and of course I had the glass ones with the temperature control. So I still use the Eheim. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But I would not run a tank without a temp controller for that very reason. If you get stuck on, it's stuffed.
When I first got in the hobby, I mean, the missus used to have arguments as to which fish and corals would have. So the easiest answer was to get her a tank. So I bought one of the fluval ones. I don't know what they're called. Wooden cabinet, no sump, back filter, back sump, or whatever you call it, rear sump. And that's exactly what happened to that. She was growing zoas like, you know, what were they called now? Jawbreaker zoas? Is it Jawbreaker one? I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, years ago, the same sort of time around that Utter Chaos were about. And yeah, we came on one Saturday and absolutely boiled the tanks. The temperature, the heater had packed in and cracked and bust or whatever. Everything was dead. So that from that moment forth, she didn't have a tank, and I've ended up with this one. But who knows what would have happened if it weren't for that? We might have ended up with one as big as yours, Rob. Who knows? Probably not.
It's definitely the weak link in this hobby, though, isn't it? Heaters.
Yeah,
everyone's had a bad.
I say so.
Heaters.
Yeah, I mean, Steve changes his heaters every year.
Mm.
I must admit, I let them go on and on until they break, because you get an alert, and actually if it wasn't working for a few hours, the temperature doesn't really change that much unless it's in the middle of winter. But and also I don't go for the cheapest one, because I think if you think how much you're spending on livestock, and you can get them fairly cheap, so I kind of go for an Eheim or I'm trying to think the last ones I've bought. Can't remember, but there's some decent quality ones out there.
Yeah, Eheim one's pretty good, isn't
they? I like Eheim pumps as well.
Been around for years, isn't they?
Yeah. So I think actually Zoo's asking that, what's the best heater stat? Say 100 watt. Well, I'd get a DD temperature controller for starters if he was going to have a temperature controller, and then for a heater, Eheim. If you want to get one that doesn't have a thermostat on it. I haven't bought one for a while. What would you recommend as a manufacturer for heaters? Because I've gone blank on what ones there are, to be fair.
Well, I used to get the Shago, you know, the old German titanium.
Yeah, the old German titanium ones. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. One on there actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the D&D do them now, don't they? I don't know what happened to Shago.
They do, but I won't trust it. I won't trust anything over 600 or 650, because there's been plenty of issues with those over the years.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Manufacturers
as well.
I think the Zoo's okay. He's looking for 100 watt, but yeah.
But I would always have, if you wanted the 100 watt,
redundancy.
I'd have 250s as well. So if it does get stuck on, you've got more time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Boil the tank.
Yeah. That's what I'd do. 100%. I'd agree with Rob on that. I'll run 3 on this, and I don't need to run 3. There's two that are individually plugged in, and one on a temp controller. So there's 2 that are constantly on, and the one that temp controller is literally the one that dials into, you know, when I want it.
Okay.
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that because it's a big? If you had a smaller tank, say you had, I don't know, 300 tank, would you still have more than one heater?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I never run a tank with more than one heater. I've
always. If there's anything I've had experienced issues with that will kill your tank, it's the heater, an ATO, over any other equipment. You can cope with lights going off. You can even cope with your return pump going off if you've got a power head running. But your heater going up or down, you know, and the ATO, your salinity going up or down, it's game over in most cases.
I definitely think the ATO, more of a risk if it dumps loads of water in and it goes a bit nuts. I think that, certainly if you filled up a bucket and then you decide to drain all of that in, I think that heaters, I've never really thought about that. I think I'm going to run a poll actually.
Yeah, because
especially if you're using a heater that isn't app based, which the D&D ones are great. I'm not saying what you've suggested is ideal, but obviously you're not going to get an alert, are you, from D&D temp controller that your temp's gone through the roof?
True.
Because your sensor that with that really crap sucker that you meant to stick on the inside of it, and it is crap because it never sticks. It always, you know, for all you know, the sensor just gradually lifted itself out of the sump and it's giving you, it's registering the water as the air temperature, not the water temperature.
Then you are stuck. I always keep mine in the display, and I hook it where the return nozzle is. I fix it around that, so it could become detached. But touch wood, so all 3 tanks, I've got them in the display because I just prefer them in the display. Even though it's a small tank, you can't really see it because you've got the return nozzle and the power head underneath, and it just sits just behind that. And I've always found it's worked pretty well in there. But I get what you mean. If it comes out of the water, your heater's just going to go overtime, and you're going to cook your tank, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's a fair point.
Which is what we're saying about if you get 2 heaters. So if one heater sticks on, it's not powerful enough to cook your tank.
Cook your tank, exactly.
Kind of.
You're half in the load.
Yeah. So we've got a poll running. Do you run more than 1 heater on your tank? Yes or no? Be interesting to see. I haven't really considered it, but it's got me thinking now. Good to hear that the Reef Beat app is good. I bought the Red Sea 4-part dose system. Be interesting to see how you get on with that. I don't know that many people that run that and how easy it is. I know it sounds easy to run because it comes off your calcium. The bit I can't get my head around is it's unlikely that over a sustained period of time, all your stuff will stay in line because things drift, don't they? So I find that but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, like, after 18 months or so, whether they're still all dropping down at the same
rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When you put so much money and time into it, it's great to have a live feed of tank for apps, game changer and Wi-Fi cameras. Yeah, absolutely. We've got there about the Eheim 100 watt is about 19 centimeters long. They are quite long heaters.
Yeah.
Here we go. I removed the fuse as the Cheeto was covered in thick gunk. Also, loads of crap at the bottom under the Cheeto. Nitrates went from 35 to 20 overnight. This was last Saturday, so we'll test again. I think a lot of people end up stripping the Cheeto back, don't they? Not starting again, but cleaning it out.
Well, it's the thick gunk's probably because it's not been harvested in it.
Yes.
Yeah, or there's not enough flow in there.
There's not enough flow in there. What people tend to forget with the refusion, again, just from personal experience, is that it doesn't matter how deep it is, it's the surface area. It's the surface area that's getting the light, that's photosynthesizing, that's absorbing the nutrients out of the water. So no matter it's this deep, it's the point is you need to be harvesting the surface area, should I say.
Yeah.
And taking it out. If you get gunk, it's more than likely because you're not harvesting it. Or there's not enough flow, like Rob says. I think they're good to an extent for your critters and your microbiome, but I just think they're also not great for ripping iron out your water and other things. But again, it depends on what you want how you want to run your system. It's a simple way of running a filtration and a natural way. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Does anyone know anything about the Orphec Natura icon lights? I know very little about Orphec lights. I mean,
no, I don't.
They went through a patch in the UK where a lot of people used them, and that was maybe 5 years ago. But I see very little about it. Like, I don't even know if you can get them in the UK or whether they've got any support in the UK anymore because you don't see many people talk about them. So I don't know. Sorry, don't know anything about them. You only need to run those blades at 30 to 50%. Yeah, there we go. I was running 60% white, 100% on blues, hitting 800 mid tank. God knows what full blast would have looked like. Absolutely.
Wow.
Grumpy's blowing up 1,000 balloons and making a balloon arch for his boy's 5th birthday. Have a great day.
Happy birthday to his lad's birthday. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the new XR30s, they're pretty powerful. Yeah, Steve talks about those quite a bit and how powerful they are. What's this? Eheims are great. Also look at the Maidenhead's Aqua Pro. I used them for years, no issue. Use them on the DD. I've had 3 DD titanium heaters foul in 3 years. Wow.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people saying they've had failures to the D&Ds, haven't they?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Certain wattages as well, but I can't remember what they were.
Yeah, sure. So the warranty, I think, is 2 years. I think we talked about this before. I think we looked on the DD website, and I think it's 2 years on the DD heaters. Yeah, Steve's all right. He's still working a lot. And he's got a few other things going on as well, but he's on the chat every so often, so he seems to be doing okay. He wants to come back on, but I think he's just getting stitched a lot with his
shifts at work.
Yeah. So I sent him the link just in case he was getting off work, and he didn't think he'd be able to make it. Temperature controllers are amazing, absolutely. 2 years of DD ones, yeah. Always keep a spare heater, power head, and return pump. Yeah, absolutely. I do the same on those kind of things. I run 2 heaters, both only work in winter. One of the DD controllers and one on an Apex. Right, let's go to the poll. And in the poll, and it's 52% say yes, they use more than one heater, and
wow.
47%, which doesn't add up. 47% say no. So it's actually tighter than I thought it would be. Based on
I thought more would run too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look. What else we've got here? There you go. Siliconed my DD sensor to the back of the wall and display. That makes actually sense.
Yeah, good shout. That. Yeah, good shout.
Another vote for Apex. Got my heater plugged into the Apex, and if the temperature rises above X temperature, it's switched off. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Polls for heaters, and I thought Tom being on here, was it going?
What's that supposed to mean? Am I missing the gag here?
Well, he thought your strings had enough holes, and I'm doing one on a heater and I've hit rock bottom. So I've said about he hates a pole, doesn't he? Never mind.
Do you know what I've got to do tomorrow, Ryland? I've got to put the bed together that you're going to be sleeping on for the next 3 nights. Next week, should I say? Yeah. So I might just put it together upside down and let you. In fact, I might just leave it for him to do when it gets up here next Thursday.
Just chuck the mattress on the floor, Tom. So that's a futon. That'll do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other one gripe about the temperature controllers, they don't. I wish they.
Here we go. Victor Mel drew
where you can replace the probe, the temperature probe, because they're always like hardwired, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
And they do get, they get a bit skanky, don't they, when they sit in salt water for 2 years?
They get very skanky.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to just go, I'll just buy a new probe.
And then plug it in. Yeah.
I can't think of any anyway.
Apex is the one where obviously that's a probe on its own.
Yeah, that's a big temperature probe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the D&Ds and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the ink birds as well. They don't allow it to change them out.
Yeah, because the DD ones are DD, aren't they?
Yeah.
One of the schoolboys with the sensors is making sure your sensors as far away from your heater as possible so you get an accurate reading.
That's why I always put it in the display. I'm on the big tank, because on the small tanks I've got, if it was in the sump or in the back here, it's such a small water area, and you've got RO water that goes in. The heaters are quite close, because I find the Red Sea temperature is usually out. Sometimes you get a small swing on it, because when the RO water goes in, it goes down.
It's colder, isn't it? Yeah.
When the heater goes on, the temperature goes up a little bit. So it's a good job it's not a controller. But I
mean, on my old Red Sea, I put one of not that one, the tank before. I put one in the return pump chamber, because I was trying to get it as far away from the heater, and that sucker I was on about was absolute crap. Came off because of the pull from the pump, and it ended up getting chewed up into the return pump.
Get ground up,
Got ground up.
Yeah.
No, so the birds have 2 sensors, don't they? Which I quite like. And they
never used one. Never used one.
They check that both sensors are in range of each other, and if they're not, then they send you an alert. That's usually by the Wi-Fi version. Reasonable.
That is good that it's on Wi-Fi, isn't it? If it's a cheaper version and one piece of kit with one function, so less to go wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's look at a couple of comments. My corals have grown so much since I took out my Chato. You meant
probably trace elements.
Yeah, it does. Iodine and iron. I don't know if it's all of them, but 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's a few key ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and iodine, if you haven't got a bit of iodine, if you have too much, you have too little, it can have quite a big impact on your corals, can't it? from what I know on that. You meant half the Cheeto and keep harvesting it, flowing there, light below and above. But for me, strip the water too much and it adds more to need dosing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my DD failed last month. I went for a Japanese, I think, one. Yeah, there's a few there on the DD.
Yeah.
I was just doing water tests and I overheard someone say no one runs with fusion anymore. Can I ask why? And should I get rid of it? No, I think if it's working for you, then why change it? I think some people have said here, you've got to keep harvesting it. And I think there's loads of other methods as well that, you know, you can look at a roller filter, because the whole point is it sucks up the nutrients, doesn't it? But also it keeps lots of copepods and amphipods.
I think they're good for a new tank.
Yeah.
They're good for bringing life in a tank as well. I mean,
That's
if I
what I'm
run
saying.
a fusion, I'd do it for the
Definitely.
pods. I wouldn't really do it for trying to put out nitrates.
Yeah.
Mate, if you run a refusion, you'd have to move house, wouldn't you? Let's be honest.
That's the trouble as well. Yeah, they have to be quite large, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
30% volume or something they recommend, don't they? So
yeah.
And I think if you're, because I had one on a new tank and it took 6 months for the Cheeto to actually start going because you got to get enough bioload into the tank to feed it. So I found that 2 or 3 times.
It can be quite good for a little pH bump at night as well, can't they? On a reverse light cycle.
Reverse light cycle. Yeah. True.
Absolutely. Wi-Fi tank, temp control and Wi-Fi central heating system, and you can hold the tank temperature even if your heater fails at least until you get home. Yeah. We did in the Love to Reef WhatsApp ball when my 300 failed. Someone posted. That's right. I remember it. Yeah. That's why I remember going into it and posting the sheet for DD that said, it actually says in there 2 years. That's right. I remember that. Mm-hmm. So going on holiday soon, so put 2 DD heater controllers and 2 Tunzi ATO and also feeding going for 2 weeks. Got
Wi-Fi camera.
The Wi-Fi camera. Yeah. Is anyone local to check in your system? I think that does help if you've got someone. Right. So I'm going to do a poll to say what is the easiest for your system. I suppose this is really what do you run?
Yeah.
What is your preference? So I've got to type it in properly first. It's not working. What's happened to the poll? Oh, my poll's not working.
You've reached a limit, Paul. It's like
Drippy sabotaging me.
Reached the max.
Right. What's your preference or favourite? And this is really, I suppose, around filtration. So it is going to be either filter floss, filter socks, roller filter, or other. Because I think all of these can be easy for you depending on what your preference is.
Yeah.
I think I've spelled it wrong, but there we go. So you choose, I suppose, the one that you prefer or the one you think is easiest to use. If you want to vote on that one, that'll be great. I've got to say, I found roller filters to be really good.
Wow.
I use a roller filter on 2 tanks. I use a filter sock on this one. And the filter sock is I have to change it out twice a week as it makes the tank sound pretty crap. So I've got to say for me, it's roller filter. You set it up and you let it go and it just goes on and on and on.
You all right, Tom?
I think they take too much out.
Roller filters.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, the rollers.
Yeah, I watched a couple. I've watched. No, mate. From a simple point of view, you know, easy reefing, lazy reefing, whatever. Definitely.
Yeah.
But I watched Salem Reef Builders, the whiz kid. But back to it, there's a very strong argument to say that technologies, you know, with microns and whatever filters, that they're that precise and that efficient that they actually take out a lot of the beneficial stuff that your tank needs. And I happen to agree with him from experience. So Filter floss for me. That's all I'm saying. Filter floss for me. Yeah.
Oh wow, you use floss.
Because you put sheets on, don't you? When the return pipes come down, it all runs into a sheet of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How often do you change that then?
Daily.
Bit like a filter roller then.
Well, do you have to change your filter roller daily?
Well, it moves on daily.
Yeah, but a lot of it will pass through because it's nothing near as precise as the micron on that. Go on. Well, I haven't paid £360 I just paid twice that for 6 sticks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I get the coarser roller as well because they do different. I don't know, like micrograms for what I don't even know how they measure it, but I get the more porous one.
Right.
So it doesn't trap as much.
Yeah, so some stuff does get through there because obviously on the other side of it you can see that some detritus gets through. So it's not pulling like literally everything out, but I just think with the amount of tangs and fish I've got, I'd have trouble otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, again.
Yeah. So go on.
I was just going to say it depends on application and the person doing it and the system they're running.
Yeah, and I didn't run it for the first year. I didn't run it at all.
I was just about to say, you see people that set up their tank on day one with all the filtration,
all of the filtration that they want for the rest of their life
through the floor, and then you have a problem because everything bottoms out. So I think on the DD one, it's got a little gate valve, so you open the gate so you can have it running, and then you can let
bypass
it through. Definitely. And I did that when I first set up a tank. I let it bypass, and then as you can see the nitrates going up and things like that, then I kick it in and it works. And it works. It's I get what you're saying. It's like anything like that, isn't it? UV and all those kind of things you'll take out, and skimmers will take out stuff that's benefit, and you've got to work out on the law of averages what you prefer.
Leave enough there.
Preferences, and actually is the plus side overweighs the negative side, and for me, they do. And the two tanks I run it on, the tanks do well, but I wouldn't have them switched on when I first run the tank. I'd want the things higher to do it.
If you're feeding other things as well to your tank, like Phyto and whatever else, and you've still got roller mats on and you've got skimmers on, then you just throwing money away.
Yeah, it definitely pulls some out. I mean, I don't know how much it pulls out.
It must pull some of it out, but
yeah, I'm sure it does. If
it's unfortunately it's not programmed to say, well, you can go past, you shall pass, and you shan't.
But I've never actually seen any data where someone goes, right, if you put 100 mil of Phyto in your tank, your skimmer's going
I love a debate, Robert.
90 mil of it. No, I'm just saying, because those figures, everyone just goes, it pulls it out, but maybe it does. It ain't going to pull all of it out, though.
So what you're saying, Tom, is it pulls out too much to make it beneficial or worth doing for you?
I just think that people could get quite giddy and pour things in. And again, I've been guilty of this, whether it's coke pods, Phyto, whatever food you're going to put in, skimmers left on, roller filters on. For all you know, you probably put 20% of the goodness actually in your water. The rest of it's just been ripped out.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, when I think back to when people used to talk about feeding your tank, it used to be turn return pump off, turn skimmer off. This was before roller filters were a thing. And you just let the power heads just keep chucking the food around the tank so that everybody got fed, whatever it was you were feeding, as an example.
Yeah. So I've never ever turned anything off in my tank when I feed.
No, nor do I.
I just can't see the point. And my main reason is because I don't want to turn it all off and then it don't come back on.
That's a really good reason. Yeah, I think there's that.
I could just picture Rob in his fish room like most dads on Christmas Eve, or whatever it is, where they're trying to do the Christmas lights, they're putting all the different ones in and getting frustrated. Just imagine Rob just throwing like 20 radions around his little fish house.
Yeah, having a complete
come on, Mobius, work. Tantrum, yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
Absolutely. Right, let's see what the poll's saying.
Oh, what are we on?
At the moment,
it'll be filter roller, I'm sure.
Well, you got filter floss at 42%.
Come on, filter floss.
Wow. Filter soft.
Filter floss
at 12. Roller filter is 8%. Sorry, 38%, and other is 8%. So actually,
I just think the filter rollers, they're a nightmare to change, aren't they? I mean, the Clarity, I've not had the Reef Factory one and whatever else it is these days, the X filters, whatever else.
Yeah.
But the Clarity, the SK5000 Gen 1s and Gen 2, they were a nightmare. They get clogged up and they just stop.
I don't change it very often. I know what you mean. It is a pain. Certainly the DD one, I end up having to take it out.
The Red Sea one looks good. The Red Sea one looks really easy to use, to be fair.
Yeah. I haven't changed it on that.
I had Clarity.
So I've got Clarity and a Red Sea one, and I think the Red Sea one's better than the DD one.
Yeah, my Clarity used to stick quite often. The alarm goes off, and it's like, it's a bit annoying, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But you won't have that with filter floss, Rob.
It's weird, because when you said filter floss, I was literally sitting there going, "Who uses filter floss in 2024?"
But there we go. The majority do on that poll. So.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Absolutely. Well, on this one, you've got the sock, and then it's got a sponge on top as well, which helps with the.
I know the one, the little square.
Yeah, but I change them out. So I got spare filter socks and obviously spare sponges, and it's twice a week I change it out.
That's quite a cool sponge, isn't it? From
it is. Yeah, so it does get, if you've got bubble algae, real gunky stuff, it will take it into that, which is pretty good. Where obviously the filter sock is finer microns on that.
Yeah. I said the other thing is, what do you do when you go away then, Tom? Who changes your floss out for you? Or do you just leave it, or you don't run it, or what?
Go away? I don't go away, mate. That's a luxury, mate. I don't get to go diving everywhere.
No, I mean when you get caught and banged up, that's what I mean.
That took a direction I wasn't expecting.
So I'll throw that in there. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. I'll just say, because we were talking about simple reefing. I mean, that is using floss is simple, but you've got to go. It's like a sock in it. You've got to remove it manually. So it's just one of those. Whereas a roller, you can leave. I mean, that's that is Alex Brooks's job, seeing as though he lives quite close to me. Right. Sort of official.
He'll come around and change it all for you and feed and make sure everything's okay. Fair enough.
And I think if you're fortunate enough to get a local reefer that understands what you're doing, then you're laughing, aren't you?
Yeah, they're not going to overfeed the tank or anything like that, and they can look at a glance and say, "Well, that should be working."
Yeah. Apart from, I hope I don't come back from holiday and he's re-skate my tank.
Yeah, with calls, some of the calls are gone.
I was going to say, he goes, your Millie died. I'm sorry, and then he's just happens to. I bought one the same.
It went brown.
Oh dear.
Right, let's look at some more comments because there's loads there. So thank you everyone.
What was the result? What was the poll result? Have you done it yet? Sorry, or not?
Yeah, I did. The filter floss was 41. Roller filter was 37. Filter socks was 12, and the other was 8.
Cool.
So filter floss for the win. I must admit, the thought of changing that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got an issue at the minute because I've got really high organics at the minute because I've got a lot of light. And I'm just blasting everything at the minute.
You know what you want, Tom, don't you?
Yeah, roller
filter roller.
He hasn't got the space, has he?
I haven't actually. If you remember, Paul, the real reason why I've not got a filter roller is because the missus can't stand the smell. Because she can't stand it as it dries and it's exposed. Because she's got a nose like I don't know what, but yeah, careful. I'll go with Kev. She's upstairs. The door's charged. She's upstairs. We're all right. We're safe. We're safe. But no, she used to complain about the Clarity in the old tank I had. And yeah, since I've gone to filter floss, not mentioned.
The roll exclusive ones, Tom, because it rolls into a sealed box. That's what you want.
Sealed unit.
Goes for a tiny little slot.
Well, send me yours. You buy a new one. We're all good.
But it wouldn't fit though, would it?
It wouldn't, mate. It wouldn't.
Those from what I've
seen. Just have it out on your lounge floor.
Yeah. What I have seen people on bigger tanks do, they'll use filter floss, but then they have something like a Clarity or something like that actually running in the sun. And they'll have a pump feeding it.
It's like a little
AAC used to do that on the, I don't know if they still do on the display, because Paul would have filter floss for it to on the downpipe for it to come down. And then he'd run a roller filter in the sump. I don't know if he still has, that takes out the particles. So again, it's not stripping all of it out, but it's taking some of it out. So he's kind of using multiple things, but that's on a really big tank.
So I've got about 4 or 5 roller. What do you call them? Rolls of filter roller from the Clarisy.
Yeah.
From my old Clarisy in the cupboard, because I bought bulk a few years ago. And what I tried doing with this is it's hard to explain. So tank's 2 and a bit wide, got a bit of egg crate. So I tried cutting the length of it and wrapping it like sort of on itself, so I could use that as filter floss almost.
Oh yeah, to just water to pass through it, you mean?
Pass through it, yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened was, because it was so fine, as in microns or whatever you want to call it, it prevented the flow going through the sump.
Yeah.
And that just answered my argument altogether, because the return chamber was suffering because there wasn't enough water going through it. So as soon as I swapped it out and I went for filter floss, I've never had that issue. So I've got a lot of turnover in my tank with the two return pumps on it. So I have a lot of water passing through very quickly. Yeah. And for me to do that and stop it, it would cause me an issue.
You have to turn it right down, which then defeats the object of you trying to push it through as quick as possible. Yeah. So that was the whole point of not having power heads, wasn't it? That you've got the flow coming through.
Even though I've got 8 power heads now.
Yeah. But it was a good idea to begin with.
Great idea, mate. Great idea.
In theory, it was absolutely perfect idea. Really clean look. No things just stuck on the side of the tanks. But in practice, it's a bit of a dog's dinner idea. But
it was a dog's dinner. It was a dog's dinner. Anyway,
it would have been fine if you didn't want MSPS in it, wouldn't it? You could have had a nice softy tank. Probably would have worked for you, Tom.
Just a little bit of
flow. If you just kept it simple.
Yeah. Rather than
don't you talk to me about simple, crikey! Wow, how's your spawning going anyway? Before we move on, have you grown anything yet? We've got any colonies that you're growing out, or what's happening?
I've literally just water tested it this week, so I've got a leaky valve on it, so I've got to chop it out and replace it. But no, I've got to take the stuff in the tank in the sump room, like all the trackies and stuff and the scollies and that, into that Red Sea tank, so I can change my plumbing, because I want to add to my sump, don't I? So it's the actual spawning thing's going to be some months away at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We've got to source the millies or whatever to begin with. Haven't
Yeah, exactly.
A challenge. Yeah, and get the tank, I suppose, in a position where it's good with the SPS. Then if you're using live rock and that from the existing tank, that will help it speed it up.
I'll probably just take one of the ceramic blocks out and chuck it in the sump of that. But I've got to cover the whole tank in as well, which is the other pain, because it's kind of really light. So so I've got a few things to do yet.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right, let's go through through some of the comments. Let's see what we've got here. You're calling me out. I bought everything day one. I don't run UV though, or Refugium. I think, but if you've got the bio load going through, then you're okay. I think it's where people set all the stuff up and they've got that bio load and it strips it out. And then some people set it up from when they cycle the tank, which I think is where it's really dodgy.
I think the only thing I would say, sorry to put in, is if you don't want a Refugium and you want to use man-made rock because you'd want less chance of having hitchhikers, or you want it to look artistic or design or whatever, is put live rock in, which is what I did in mine, in your sump, instead of Refugium, proper seeded live rock.
Yeah. It makes such a difference, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Because I've put another piece of live rock in here. I'm going to get a couple of small pieces from Rob when I get over to him, because I just want to get a bit more diversity in there. And then I'm going to pick up a couple of small pieces from AAC as well, just to bump up the live rock in there, but also a bit more surface area.
Just gives an environment for everything to grow, and especially if you're going to put fish in your tank like wrassers or whatever, it's just going to absolutely pick to death and eat everything that you're trying to grow. You've got a separate environment for everything to thrive without getting nailed by fish, haven't you, or whatever?
There's definitely something in it about getting different pieces of rock from different people that you trust, getting corals from lots of different people, because the coral will bring in different parts of different diverse biodiversity you haven't got. And by doing all that, that really helps to substitute for what we used to get, which would have been loads of Fiji rock and everything else that would have been teeming with that bio, exactly. As long as all the hitchhikers as well.
Yeah.
But that's the downside, I suppose, isn't it? I go, how many of you pulls return pump when feeding? I've got the Vetra, but never use the function. I never use it either. I used to, I don't, not the power heads or anything. I just throw it in. The only time I used to do it is when I used to have a Mandarin. I used to turn off the pumps on the left-hand side to feed the Mandarin, and I used to put the rest of the food in the other end, so all the fish would go for the food on the right-hand side, and the Mandarin had a chance of picking at some food. But that was the only time I used to do anything with the display. But that was purely for target feeding the Mandarin.
Yeah, never done it.
I don't know many people that do nowadays. So I don't know if it's just a novelty. I don't know. I do on the Apex, Alex. There we go. Some people, I do, to be fair, especially if it's smaller particular stuff for corals rather than mice, etc., which fish obviously scoff. Otherwise, just ends up down the chute in the skimmer floss. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, well, yeah. Don't feed with corals either, though. So
no, but when I've seen what those tangs put out, it's like being on the reef. They're going along almost like carpet bombing.
Exactly. Mine do the same. Mine do the same. Just torpedoes straight into wave makers every couple of minutes.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you got the natural particles that they love and soak up all the time, don't they? When you hear people when they see fish on the reef and there's a whole shoal of tangs and everything else, they're doing exactly when you've seen that, Rob. Probably I've only seen it on videos, and they're constantly feeding the corals, aren't they? And then the waves and everything else is just taking it across the whole reef. So I think that's probably an advantage of tangs that people don't probably think of. The waste, but not of the goodness.
Yeah.
It depends on how your system's set up. I think in most cases, unfortunately, you'll end up with a collection, one back left, back right hand corner of the tank, and you just get a really bad detritus build up.
Yeah, you got to take it out.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Clam opens up. Definitely filter feeds. Corals chuck out feeding tentacles, etc. So obviously, hopefully for something. Yes, I use it in my sump frag tank for flow and works. Yeah, I didn't realise, Bob, you've got a lovely clam in your tank as well. It's a big old thing.
Yeah, it's a big old thing. Yeah. I've got a very small one as well, which is so small you didn't see it, Paul. It's
I tell you what, there was a lot of things. You put a post up about, I think, one of your butterfly.
The Marcella butterfly.
It looked absolutely stunning and didn't even notice it. There was just so much going on with the other fish. And I'm sure there was loads of corals I didn't spot either. I mean, I was only there for about half an hour because I had to go. But
they're easy to miss,
so many things didn't spot. But it's a lovely fish, that one.
You only stayed there half an hour? Was it that boring?
Yeah, and I had to get back to do a bit of work.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Crikey.
Yeah. I was confused when you said that. I was like, what?
Well, you did look confused. What is this work you talk of?
Oh dear. Anyway.
We just think
you're having a dinner frame race across his garden.
Someone said there, do you get any back siphon or does it hold? It makes sense to use it, not wasting.
And you turn the pumps off.
Well, you turn the it's either turn the pump off, or actually if you put it on the feed mode.
Yeah, it shouldn't back siphon, should it?
No, it just means this comes out
much
a lot less.
But
it slows down.
If you turn the pump off, then you're gonna your return pump, you're gonna get some kind of back siphoning on it, even if you've got the kind of little hole in the nozzle which prevents too much. You're going to get some amount of water going into it. Yes, siphon break.
Yeah.
Even with that, you get a small amount of water going into the sump, but not as much as if you don't. So there we go. Right, what else have we got? Turn off the skimmer first and then press feed mode as sump level rises. That's quite good on if you've got an Apex. You can just press a button on the Apex and it can only do water changes, it would turn off the heater for 30 minutes. It would turn off the skimmer. It would do all those kind of things. So it's quite good that you can set that up on an Apex to run a cycle. So that's one of the things I think is really good. Because quite often I used to take water out the sump, and if you haven't pressed the button, then all of a sudden you've got no water in the sump, and you've got your heaters obviously smoking. And also then you forget to turn your heater back on.
The skimmer delay as well, can't you, when you turn it back on and stuff like that. Yeah.
So the Apex is brilliant for that. Someone said to me, what can you do on an Apex? I said, with the breakout boxes you can get, you can, I wouldn't say virtually do everything, but you can program it to do so much, can't you? With the breakout, but you can connect all kinds of stuff to it, which obviously is not simple, but for
you've just took the words out of my mouth. They're great and they are brilliant, and Lee's been a massive help, but they're not user friendly. I really don't. It might be a northern thing. I just think they're a bit. You look at it and it's just all buttons and lights and flashing things and
the menu's not very easy though. I mean, there's all drop down tasks. Which, I mean, if you can use a mouse, you should be able to do most of the tasks. It's not like I don't have the time that you two have. That's all I'm saying. For me, it's just plug and play.
It's a lot easier than it used to be with the classic one, where you used to have to program everything. That was really, really hard.
So I mean, you don't have
to But now it's when you attach new things, it's plug and play. You've got the icons on the screen. I may be comparing how it used to be, but I think it's relatively easy.
I just realised
that you could have set up a whole Apex system on your tank.
We look like we're on some kind of game show, don't we? Red team, blue team versus the orange team. Just realised. Don't know who's winning tonight. Anyway, but no, I just think they're a little bit. I don't know. I just think they're a bit. For most people, you plug it in and you just want to press a button and it works, or download something and
it does.
All right, I'll retract my previous statement. I just think for me, limited IQ, clearly, they're a little bit intimidating.
I think you could be intimidated, and actually, when you look at the icon, there's loads of stuff on there, and you've plugged loads of things, and you've got all the icons. So I think it can be over complex, and maybe I'm comparing how it used to be, because it used to be really challenging to set up.
I think if you've used one before and you've progressed to the current Fusion, great. Yeah. But I think if you literally go out there now and spend, what is it, £700-800, a lot of money, and buy one and plug it in, there's not as much. There's nowhere near as much support in the UK as there is in the States, as we know. But I just think that there's a lot of potential there that people don't know. There's a lot of things you can do with them that are really easy, is what I'm trying to say, but they're not very well explained of how easy they are to use.
And I think if you get the
going off on a tangent, but
if you get the one that's £700 or £800, you've got a lot more stuff that comes with it, because you can get the junior one that has I think 3 things on it. Whereas obviously you get the 700-800, you've got probes, you've got to calibrate them and stuff like that. So they're a lot easier because you can press a button and it'll go through the stages, but you have to do that multiple times to set it up. So I think that's where probably the complexity, where if you've got 5 or 6 or 7 things to set up, you just got to methodically go through them. And like anything, it's easy when you know how.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So absolutely. Right, let's have a look at this. We've got some comments. A tank you can manage a stable tank that's over a year old. ATO, I put filter floss in a sock, goes to a lighting schedule. You set and forget. Absolutely. I think if you can dial your tank in and avoid the issues like cyno and dynos and stuff like that, and you've got regular maintenance and that, it can be a relatively easy hobby. And you're not throwing in loads of complication, too many fish at one time, especially in a smaller tank. I think if you start mixing fish, it's quite challenging in a small tank, because it's easy to get a rogue fish. So I think a smaller tank, I think it's harder to choose the right fish, I think, than when I had the 5-foot tank. It's a little bit more forgiving. Yeah. And you put the wrong fish in something like that, you've got warfare in 2 minutes, because there's nowhere to go really. So a fish can be really intimidated and then never come out. I know they can in a bigger tank, but there's a little bit more where one can swim down the other end a little bit more.
Yeah, great line of sight, and it's just a lot easier, isn't it? I think.
Yeah,
they're challenging, small tanks.
Yeah, I think I have to do a bit more research as to what fish I would mix, because you've got a choice. So on this one, no more than 4 fish in here. I think if you can put 6 or 7 in there, but you've got a bioload problem, and then you've got fish tripping over one another, so therefore you've got an aggression problem because you haven't got enough space for each individual fish. Here's a question. Who uses a shop vac, wet and dry vac, to suck the gunk out of the sump? Yes. I've got a Wix wet and dry one that if I'm doing the sump, it only takes out, what, 20 litres at a time, I think? But it's really good if you've got a lot of gunk. You can clean out a sump really quickly.
They'll use one. I used to have
really good on the big tank.
I was cheap. I had a cheap manual, I don't know what it was, like a sump pump thing, which you just squeeze by hand and it used to suck it. But now sump's up, so I can just siphon it out.
Was that during the war, Grandad?
It was, yes. Yeah, had all the windows blacked out, air raids going off.
And a gravel filter.
That's it, yeah.
Oh dear. Critical Reef evening, reefers waiting. Thank you for joining. Always appreciated when you drop in at any time. Where are we going? There you go. I'm gonna ask Rob to come around and program my Apex fully. He doesn't know yet. Here we go.
See?
Trust me, Tom's got plenty of time on his hands during the week to work it out.
Yeah, I believe that.
Oh dear.
I thought Tom and Paul was sponsored by Apex. If only. Going a t-shirt. Oh yeah, the t-shirt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's the colour of Apex we got on.
Yeah,
I'm a lover of Apex. Although, if you go back 3 or 4 years, it did feel like Apex had abandoned the UK. They wasn't launching anything. They had no support.
That's why I fell out with it when I first started with Apex. There was just nobody in the circle. Just going to be a comment here. You've got no mates in the circle of friends that I used to come out with in the hobby. There was just nobody that you could really lean on, to say, am I being daft here or what? I mean, the amount of times I've watched the YouTube videos and it's so easy. You press and hold this and you press and hold that, and it just didn't work. And it just
I honestly thought it was super easy. I mean, I set mine up. I bought mine from new, didn't know anything about it, whacked it on, and I thought it's just drop down menus. I was like, couldn't be any easier. I don't know how easy they can make it, unless you want them to come around your house and do it for you when you buy it. I mean, it's just drop down.
Well, Liam's backing me up in the comments. I can see his comment here. He's saying, I can't see it. If only there was a button on the Apex to press and all shows you how to do it. So there's not just me feeling the pain. If it's me that's just thinking, if I'm just dense up here in bloody Yorkshire, then I'll hold my hand up. But I don't think.
What are you trying to do?
Well, right.
Program it all. I mean,
agree or disagree, both of you.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of things wrong with Apex if you don't know what you're doing. Agree, disagree?
A lot of things wrong on anything.
No. There's a lot of reefing equipment out there right now. You plug it in and it just does something. Yeah. Apex, I'm surprised you can't tell it to turn your bloody washing machine on or off or whatever. Charge your electric car or whatever. Exactly.
You plug it into the
You're mocking me. You're mocking me, but you know where I'm going with this. The point I'm trying to make, as I said earlier, with all the technology, the more you add to it, the more chance you have of something going wrong. User error, there's that many things. I've plugged bits of equipment on and all these things just come up and I'm just like, no, I just want it to say power head on, off.
But it does. You've got a slider that says
no. I've got power head on and off, and this mode, and do I want it to put it in this and sit with this? And
most people are after 4 weeks ago. It's too primitive. It's not doing what I want. I want modern on and off. I mean, that's the thing. So they've got to cater for everyone.
Right. Well,
auto. Yeah.
Back in the day, Rob, when you semi-retired, you used to do the crossword, mate, and take the dog for a walk.
So he programs his Apex for fun.
Now he's writing code for Apex. Clearly,
he can write codes. That is complicated.
Oh, here we go. Right, let's just stop.
I've just programmed all the seasonal data in for mine, for the sea surface temperatures, the barley, lunar cycles, everything. I mean, it is amazing what you can do with it.
Clearly, well. For me, I just want something that goes on and off. Anyway.
There we go. Apex.
Thank you. It's a Yorkshire thing. Good old Tim.
Okay.
Good old Tim. Thanks, Tim. Cheers for the support, mate.
I feel Apex is an easy system.
Thank you. I feel another poll coming on.
I feel another poll
Some
coming
people
on.
like instructions. There you go. Someone else. Very complicated in IT. It's the coding that gets. You don't have to use the coding anymore. That's the thing.
See,
You used to. There we go.
you two were clearly nerds at school.
I wish I had.
Yes.
No,
yes.
I wish I had been. Not the school I went to. More of a nerd since I left school. But
All right,
when it comes to reefing. But there we go. Without Apex, Jamie Craig would never have started coral spawning.
I'm not mocking it. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm just saying they're complicated.
It's not simple reefing, is
Thank
what
you.
you're saying, which is the topic.
Correct. Which is the topic. Thank you. Back to topic. Yeah.
Anyone who comes on YouTube, just look at that. Jeez, you should not be going to struggle. That's a brilliant comment, and he's not being rude. There's nothing in there like
funny.
he usually puts.
It's fine. There's one more space for the Reefers barbecue now because Drippy's not coming. So if anyone would like to come, please message me on Instagram.
Okay, if anyone's going with an Apex, can they please bring the instructions?
Yeah, please bring instructions.
Your Apex man, isn't he? I thought Lee was your
He
Apex
is.
man.
To be fair, Lee's been an absolute diamond with some of the help he's given me, and it's one of those things. If it's like if somebody's showing you, literally physically showing you, and say, "Oh, you just need to do this, that, and the other," it's great. But I mean, I know full well round my neck of the woods, there's no LFS that I could go, I bought this Apex from you that you've took my money off before, 900 quid, whatever. Can you tell me how to use it? Oh, no, you need to email these guys and message these. It's fob you off. That's what I'm kind of saying. I think it's frustrating for the hobbyists because it just, for a great bit of kit, which I would say I probably use it for 10, 20% of its potential.
Same here.
There isn't enough of that, local community, whatever you want to call it, that enough to say this is what you need to do.
Yeah, fair point.
Oh, did that hurt?
Slightly. Got a bitter.
But he still thinks it's easy. There you go. The old Apex was really tough to use. They added the task drop down menus and made it really easy. Now there's a quick. I don't know if we can do this quickly. I've seen in the press, there was things in the press about polytoxins.
Oh,
and there was somebody, it was Dagenham, which is not far from us, is it? They had to go to hospital.
We talked about it last Sunday, didn't we?
Oh, did you? And they evacuated 10 houses around it, which I thought was a bit extreme.
It did seem extreme.
I think maybe because I know that's in the tanks, I'm careful, but I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to catch it. I think if you're careful,
I mean,
if I throw things, I have windows open.
When that guy goes on holiday and he knocks on his neighbours and goes, "Can you feed me a tank?" They're really going to be that keen.
Or be careful with what you have, so don't have dodgy zoas. Don't have pallies.
Don't have pallies.
Or because mushrooms also, I don't know if they give off pallies, but they do give off.
Some
mushrooms do. So avoid the mushroom. Do your research. Avoid pallies. Especially there's the green ones. I can't remember what they're called. There's big, thick, round-headed green pallies. And I didn't actually.
I've read the article at the time, but I don't know anything else because I wondered what he was doing because that's not normal, is it?
No, I don't think that's it doesn't just happen. I don't think I mean, people have known to boil rocks or they start fragging them and you're in a confined space. Because if I frag any zoas, I then put carbon in straight away afterwards. I did it with most things. I'll put carbon in because you get some mucus and all that kind of stuff in there. But zoas, I take them out the tank. I have a really a lot of flow through the room, and then put them in and just making sure I don't have any cuts in my hands and stuff like that. There we go. Right, we're nearly out of time, so I'm just going to go through the rest of the comments, and then we are done.
This is what happened to me.
Get a new phone and ask you how to do
this. What I've got
Lee is king of Apex.
Am I meant to?
hydros is best for.
Am I meant to be laughing? Sorry, I'm not reading.
No, it's okay. It was this. I don't know if this was aimed at you. That one there, Tom. Just for you.
Looking at.
No, I'm not coming to the UK as far as I know. I think that relates to the hydros.
That's the hydros
system for beginning. I think the Palajuice in the water pistol.
Rampage.
There we go. When I started my life, sold me a large rock with pallies. It shouldn't be allowed. I think that's a fair point.
Well, this was me when I got palliatoxin in my finger. Let me show you that. Can you remember me showing you ages ago? That was my finger back in about 2018.
Oh, nice.
Blimey.
Yeah. That hurt a lot.
That looks quite painful.
That is, but painful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
So we've got the last comment to Drippy, and then we've got to shoot. I don't know if that. I'll let people decide whether that sums it up or not. I'm not going to comment because that would just be rude.
Oh, God.
No, Liam's got the last word.
Yeah, he's got it in there.
He can't comment. He's from Doncaster. They don't even have buses. They just burn them out in riots.
That is quite true. Right. On that note, I think we'll leave it to windows smashing and licking.
Lovely.
You've
Been
got
emotional.
a live stream 10 o'clock on Sunday, haven't you, on your channel? Is the norm?
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Drop into that. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Tom, for joining. Thank you,
Pleasure.
everyone
No
who's
problem.
watched. Thank you, all those who's taken part in the polls, especially you, Drippy, because I know you love a poll, and also for the great comments in that. So thank you very much. I'm not too sure where we are next week. I don't know if Jay is back, so I don't know if we're on Jay's channel. If we're not, because he can't be bothered, then Tom, because he does. He sometimes says, "No, I can't be bothered this week." So he doesn't.
Very
And
good.
so therefore it's down to me and Tom now. So we're either going to be over Jay's channel or we're going to be with Tom next.
Yeah, no problem.
In the meantime, have a great weekend, everyone. And
Yeah, join us Sunday. That'd be great. Me, Josh, and Rob are going to be talking about who's your reefspiration on my channel Sunday at 10 o'clock.
Like it.
So it'd be good if you could join us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a nice
Brilliant.
weekend.
See you guys.
All the best.
Cheers.
Take care.